I'm Phyllis Snipes, and I would like to share with you a year in my life that will live in infamy. And that was the year of 1992. As you can see by the degree on the wall, 1992. Everything had been wonderful. I completed all of my coursework and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm on top of this. Then came dissertation time. I did manage to get through the entire dissertation process, was ready to approach my final happy moment of the committee meeting and them putting the crown on my head and sending me off on my way. They were actually going to be sending me off to Germany. I was to do some work for the Department of Defense for a couple of weeks. And after the dissertation process was finally completed, I was on my way on the plane. So I expected this to be a wonderful celebration time, finally completing my dissertation. Well, I went to the committee meeting and ready for balloons and ice cream and cake. And one of the committee members, the statistician on my committee, just said unexpectedly, I don't think that I can live with this data the way that it's been reported in this dissertation. So the chair of my committee looked at him and said, you are the one who told her to do it this way. And he said, well, I just don't think I can live with this. Now, I maintained composure, I thanked the committee, and I left to go make my revisions, which were going to be quite time-consuming, and I was to hop a plane in about 5 days. So I made an appointment with the person who was doing all of my lining up with all of my tables in my final dissertation submission, and I told her I needed to meet with her because I had to redo all of my data, and she would have to create new tables for me. She said the only time she had was Sunday. I could come to her house and work while she went to church, and I could complete all of the work that I needed to do, typing and setting those things up then. So I went that Sunday. After I had reworked all of my data, I was at her house working, and I became so ill that I literally had to lie down on the floor. And I had to think about calling my brother-in-law, whom is not my favorite person in the world, to call an ambulance for me because I didn't think I could get up and finish this process. But I did manage to overcome this surge of sickness that I felt. I completed the tables. I finished everything I needed to do, and she came back and processed it for me, and I did manage to submit the documents, the bound volumes, in time for my committee as I was leaving the next day for Germany. Needless to say, I was at a time frame where I was going to lose coursework if I didn't finish this semester, so it couldn't be put off any longer. I had a successful trip to Germany, and after about 4 or 5 years, I kind of recovered from the experience. But I do want to leave you with a positive note. In spite of all the anxiety I went through, I think at the hands of my committee. Of course, always it's at the hands of the committee. I wouldn't change anything that I went through because it certainly developed a layer of professionalism, if you will, in me that I think otherwise I wouldn't have had. And it was well worth the journey. It was well worth the effort. So I encourage you. You can certainly survive any depressing moments that you have. You just have to really go into it with an attitude of, I am going to do this. I'm going to do it well so that I can finish successfully. So I encourage you all to fight the good fight. Thanks.